Join us at CE on the Beach, June 26th to 28th, 2025, at the stunning Westin Grand Cayman Resort and Spa. This is the ultimate destination event for dentists, teams, coaches, and speakers. Save your spot now and get $150 off with promo code KHENRY. Visit ceonthebeach.com to register today.
Hey, it is Kevin Henry, and welcome back into the final Dental Assistant Nation podcast of 2024. My friends, it's been a great year, and I so appreciate each of you that have listened to the episodes throughout the year. You know, my goal is to always give you a weekly podcast that is going to help you, the dental assistant, have a better career, a better day, a better week, a better outlook on this great profession that you are a part of. And again, as we end 2024, I just want to say thank you, not only for listening to this podcast, but thank you to each of you dental assistants for all the amazing things that you did in 2024. And I hope that you take a few minutes to look back at all the accomplishments that you made last year, all the things that you did to not only help the dental practice, but to help each of your patients last year. There are so many of you that made such a big impact, and do not take that lightly as you look back on your accomplishments for 2024. I know a lot of you will look at, did your paycheck grow in 2024? Did your benefits grow in 2024? Did your respect grow in 2024? And those are all important, absolutely. But take a minute to look at the things that maybe aren't going to show up in the numbers. Take a look at the moments that you remember when you helped that one patient who was so scared of the appointment, when you explained to that one patient why that crown was so important, when you made an impact. So I want you just to take a few minutes this holiday season, take a breath. We know that 2025 is going to be here before we know it. We know it's going to be a whole new year, whole new set of things coming at us from so many different perspectives. So take this moment now to look back at 2024 and all the wonderful things that you did as a dental assistant. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for each of those. So as we look back at 2024, I want to look back at 2024 as well. And I'm going to do that from the podcast perspective, because I'm going to tell you the 5 podcasts that you listened to the most this year. And whenever I was going back through the statistics in preparation for this podcast, and I was going to tell you the 5 that you listened to the most, it kind of made me happy. You know why? Because all of them were from way back at the start of the year, which means that you all have listened to them throughout the year. That means that those topics really resonated with you, really made an impact with you. And so I'm going to keep those topics in mind for 2025 so that we revisit them as well. But let's look back at the 5 that impacted you the most. And number 1 on that list, I love this topic: tips to take control of your dental assisting career in 2024. That was episode 315. And in that one, you know what? It was very basic. It was talking about all the things that I hoped that you did from a personal and a professional standpoint to make sure that this year that we're now ending was going to be the best ever. So I'm going to tell you a little secret just between us, okay? Because we've known each other for a while, right? So we can tell secrets. Here's my secret. The tips that I gave you for 2024 are going to be just as good for you in 2025. So if you have a few minutes during this holiday season to listen back to episode 315, which was tips to take control of your dental assisting career in 2024, I absolutely encourage you to do that. And hey, technology was hot on your priority level as well. Episode 316, the one right after that, where I talked to a dental assistant advocate out there as well, Shannon Pace Brinker. Hey, Shannon is one of those people who has been in the industry for a long time. She bangs the drum for how important dental assistants are just as much as I do. I love Shannon and everything that she stands for. And we talked about digital scanning tips and tricks for dental assistants in episode 316. That was the second most listened to episode of the entire year. So if you've got that digital component in your practice and you didn't hear the tips that Shannon Pace Brinker talked about in episode 316, I want you to go back and listen to that, because it's absolutely going to be something that can help you out a lot. Let's jump ahead a little bit to episode 322. You know what we talked about in that one? Tips for dental assistants to work with young dentists. Oh man, is that a relevant topic? not just in 2024, but moving forward, right? Because dental assistants, we know you're going to be that North Star for so many of those dentists out there that are coming out of dental school that are trying to learn about not only working with a team, but working with patients as well. You're going to be the ones that are going to help guide them on their chairside manner. So we talked about some of those tips in episode 322. So I want to make sure that you listen back to episode 322, tips for dental assistants who are working with young dentists. The fourth one kind of touches me a little bit differently, and I want to tell you why. So it was episode 323, and that was my hope for Dental Assistants Recognition Week in 2024. Dental Assistants Recognition Week will happen again in 2025. We know that. It's a week that is set aside for dental assistants to be recognized for all the amazing things that they do. And I remember whenever I started writing out what I was going to talk about for this episode, episode 323, I remember writing out the things that I wanted you to do for yourself, because I know so many of you don't get the recognition that you deserve, not just during that week, but the other 51 weeks of the year as well. And so while I'm really glad that my Hope for Dental Assistants Recognition Week is among the top 5 listened to the past year, it also saddens me a little bit because I know it resonated with so many of you who will not get that recognition. So I want you to go back and listen to that episode. And the reason I do is because it's going to give you hope for not just that 1 week, but the other 51 as well in 2025, because there's a lot of things you should be doing every day to remind yourself how amazing you are. And that's one of the things that we talked about. And then the fifth and final one that I want you to go back and listen to, episode 317. And you know what? It was about what dental assistants should know about a consultant coming into the practice. Oh man, I remember whenever I came up with this topic and we brought in a consultant to talk about this, because so many of you tell me about how things change dramatically whenever one of those consultants come into the practice, and you feel like you're on pins and needles. You're wondering what's going to happen. And so I was really glad to get some of those tips so that you could be prepared for when a consultant comes in and you know changes are going to be made. Now, whether those are long-term changes, short-term changes, whatever it is, I think it's a really good episode for you to listen to. So let me run over one more time. Episode 315, tips to take control of your dental assisting career in 2024, which I also think you can use for 2025 as well. Episode 316, those digital scanning tips and tricks. Episode 322, tips for dental assistants who are working with young dentists. Episode 323, my hope for Dental Assistants Recognition Week 2024. And then finally, episode 317, what dental assistants should know about a consultant coming into the practice. Those were your top 5 most listened to episodes of 2024. And you know what? I think they're great ones. I love the fact that it was a wide range from not only how you can grow personally, but also professionally as well. How you can balance your work life, how you can enjoy your day more. We touched on so many of those topics in those 5 podcasts. I want to make sure that you go back and listen to those while you've got a little downtime this holiday season, because the biggest thing I want to come out of this holiday is not only that you enjoy time with friends and family and make new memories, but that you're also rested and rejuvenated and ready to go in 2025 so that you can not only be the best for your practice, but for your patients as well. So that's a real quick podcast as we look back on your top 5. Thank you. The Dental Assistant Nation podcast would not be here without you all listening to it. And it makes me feel good whenever I go back and I see all these different downloads that we got this year. By the way, can I share a little something with you? This past year, we got more than 22,000 downloads of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud to see how much the dental assistants relied on this podcast just as that extra jolt, that extra boost whenever they needed it the most. And I'm thankful to all of you who sent me an email, kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com, just to say, hey, I listened to your podcast. Thank you so much. Some of you took issues with things that I said. Some of you congratulated me on things that I said. It's okay. Whatever you send to me, it's all right. I just love to know that you're listening. So make sure if you don't send me an email at kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com, that at least you give us those 5-star reviews and that you tell other dental assistants about episodes that you found encouraging and insightful as well. So again, thank you. Happy New Year. Here's to a great 2025 for each of you. And if there's anything that I can do to make that happen, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I know great things are ahead, and I'm so honored to be a part of this with you here at the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. Until next time, Kevin Henry, host of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. I'll see you in 2025 because, as always, I'm wishing you nothing but success.